Okay, this is what you need to make your face mask. You need a piece of fabric. This is just cotton, polycotton. It measures 8 inches by 8 inches by 14 inches. You'll need sewing thread, needles and pins, 4 buttons, a spool if you're going to do it by machine, a pipe cleaner of some description or wire, and a piece of elastic that is big enough to stretch around your head and do loops on the end. This one is 18 inches, but I've got quite a big head. As I said before, you need a piece of fabric that is 8 inches by 14 inches. So the first thing you do is fold the fabric so the right sides are together, like this. And then along this short edge, the 8-inch edge, you want to make a seam. So you can either do this by hand with needle and thread, or you can sew it on the sewing machine. So I'm going to sew mine on the machine. So as you can see, that's got a nice seam on it. So the next thing we're going to do is sew in the pipe cleaner. So take your pipe cleaner. You could fold it in half if it's quite thin, just to give you a bit more of a stronger bend. I'm just going to give that a bit of a twist as well, just to so it sticks together. Okay, so we're going to put that through the top there. We're also going to put the filter, which is a Dyson Hoover filter. It's not up to like HEPA standards, but it is quite a good filter, and that's going to go in the middle. So the first thing you need to do is turn your tube right way out, making sure that the bit you've just seamed is at the top, like that. You can give it a press if it helps. Then you put your wire through the top, centering it, and then you want to seam along there to hold the wire in place. Okay, so that's your wire in place there. You can see it'll bend and hold its shape now. So the next thing we're going to do is put the filter in. So you take your filter and just pop it in between the two layers, so it's kind of in the middle. Can you see it's just round there? So I'm just going to pop a pin in that to hold it in place while I sew. And to hold it in place, I'm going to sew a line right down the middle. Right, so that's your wire in place and your filter in place. So the next thing we're going to do is pleat it. So this is what gives the mask its sort of like shape and makes it cling to you round your mouth and face. So what we're going to do is 2 inches down from the top, make a mark with chalk pencil or eraser, and then after that you want to make a mark at the inch mark all the way down to the bottom. Now the way to fold it is what you want to do is put those two marks together. So you fold it on that mark and bring it to that mark and then secure it with a pin. Keep your pin heads quite out of the way because you're going to sew over these. So then you do the same again. You bring that mark to that mark. And pin it. You can put more pleats in than this if you feel you want to, but I've found that's usually enough. So then you just do the same with the other side. Right, so now what you do is you want to sew down this side, sew the pleats in, and do the same at the other side. So that's the main part of your mask complete. What we're going to do now is bind all these raw edges in using a piece of homemade buyer's binding. So what you need to get is a strip of fabric. So measure it against the length of there to make sure it's long enough, about 1.5 inches wide, and then you just simply fold it in like that, and then fold it again and run the iron over it, and that makes your binding. So here's one I made earlier. So what you're going to do now is just bind the edges, just to make it look tidy. So pop your binding, your edge, so it fits inside both pieces of the binding, like so. Pop a pin in it. Again, making sure that you cover the raw edges and your pin heads out of the way. And then you just sew along the very edge so that you make sure you catch both sides, underside and the top side in it. So there we go. It's got nice bound edges. Makes it a little bit more stable. Makes it look prettier. Next thing we're going to do is attach the elastic. Now I'm using the elastic, because I don't have a lot of elastic, I'm making them removable, the straps, and the way you do that is you need 4 buttons. So basically we're going to button the strap on and unbutton it off. So your 4 buttons will be placed like that. So that's 1 in each corner. And you will sew your elastic. This once again depends on what sort of elastic you've got. The one that I had was a wide one. So what I've done is, to make the 4 sections, you could either just use narrow elastic if you have it, but I didn't, so I've cut it through the middle to make two little arms on it, and then I've sewn it at the end into a loop so that it can hook over the buttons. So sew your buttons on and it'll look like this, and then you simply hook the elastic over the buttons. This means that you can remove this. These masks should only be worn for about 15 minutes, 10 really, but 15 minutes at the most. So if you were going out and wanting to wear one for longer than that, if you took several with you, you can just swap them over. I mean, you can just as easily sew the elastic on and swap them over, but I hadn't got a lot of elastic, so I thought this was a way of saving elastic. There's no point making these if you have to go out and buy the stuff to make them. So that's basically your mask finished. You've got your bit through the top that keeps it around your nose, and these go around your ears, over your ears, under your ears. That holds it together at the back. Right, so this is what it looks like on. Over the back of your head and your ears. Push that to seal around your nose. If you put one in the bottom, which you can do as well, that'll seal around there. And that's it. It's finished.